Back to our Sports Center on the Road coverage live from Minneapolis, counting you down to Super Sunday, Super Bowl 52 here in Minneapolis. Okay, it's been exactly 12 days since the New England Patriots beat the Jaguars in what was absolutely a thrilling game. But it was also a game that many believe the Patriots got the benefit of the doubt from the officiating crew. I mean, look at the numbers. They were called for just one penalty, and that, by the way, the fewest in any playoff game since 2011 when the New England Patriots were called for just one penalty against the Baltimore Ravens. Numbers don't lie. It is what it is. Sal Paolantonio now joining us live from the Eagles team hotel about 15 minutes away from here in downtown Philly, or downtown Minnie. Sal, what are the Eagles saying as far as preparing for what is a game within the game?
It is a little inside baseball stage. The friends and family for the Eagles are just arriving, so there's a lot of activity here at the team hotel. And in about 15 minutes, the team will leave here in buses and go to the University of Minnesota for the final practice of Super Bowl week. But behind the scenes, what I'm told is that given what happened in the AFC Championship game, 98 penalty yards for the Jaguars and just 10 for the Patriots, Eagles coaches and players have told me that it's been a major point of emphasis to scout the referees and the referee crew, Gene Steratore and his crew, leading up to Sunday's game. Listen to this.
I don't want to give everything away, but obviously we got to play clean. So we kind of try to use that to understand what they like to call, know what they are looking for, and pretty much just help us play a cleaner game. So we know what to expect from them, and they know what to expect from us.
Just what referees call, what they throw the flag most of in, and just how to be aware of not getting a flag, what we can do, and what position we can put ourselves in to just not get a flag thrown on us.
And I heard PI and defensive holding are 2 points of emphasis, yes?
Yeah, definitely PI and defensive holding. So we just want to get our head back because the referee lets you play it if you're looking at the ball. So we just try not to face guard as much.
During the regular season, Gene Steratore's crews called 43 penalties for either defensive pass interference, defensive holding, and illegal contact, 5th highest in the league. 4 of the other 6 on the Super Bowl crew were on regular season crews that were in the top half in those kinds of penalties. Did you see what happened with Jacksonville? They were victimized by a couple of PIs and defensive holdings.
Yeah, there's always a fine line in this game, you know what I mean, between, what's valid and what's not. But at the end of the day, that's the ref's call. So, some of those were questionable, some of them were blatant. And, sometimes refs will let you get away with that. Sometimes refs will let you play. Sometimes they run a tight game. So we'll have to do the assessing as we go as well.
Some of those were questionable. Some of those were blatant. You just heard linebacker Mychal Kendricks talk about it. And that's the bottom line here. They want to play exactly how the referees are going to call the game. You got to do your homework. You got to scout the referees. This is something that Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick has done in the past. And the Eagles are doing it. They're doing their homework on a next level going into Super Bowl 52.
All right, Sal, one of many things we'll all be keeping our eyes on come Sunday, Super Bowl 52. Thank you very much. In the meantime, take a look at these numbers, those of you at home. It's interesting. In the last 5 games, there have been 13 accepted penalties against the Patriots and 35 against their opponents. They've been penalized for 280 fewer yards than their opponents over that span, nearly double the margin of any other team. So, I mean, it isn't necessarily conspiracy theory, right? And hello, downtown Minneapolis.
Hey, everybody. Hello. Yes.
Are great. They've been here all morning long. Really, numbers don't lie. That's shocking, that statistic, isn't it? There's a huge discrepancy there.
It's striking. There are people who are saying why the Patriots getting the calls. The Patriots have not gotten enough calls over time. But I think any team going into a matchup like this, any playoff game, pays attention to the officials and the tendencies. Teams scout the other teams,
sure,
and they scout the officials because they want to be prepared for a matchup like this. And when you look at Gene Steratore's crew, basically the number of penalties that they call are down this postseason. They were calling 15 penalties a game in the regular season, down to about 9 per game in the postseason. So the number of penalties has dropped. Obviously, the Patriots have been looking for flags on plays like this. But the fact of the matter is they'll go into this game, they'll have the officials scouted just the way that both teams will have each other scouted. And Gene Steratore wants to avoid another index card fiasco, the likes of which he had this season that we saw the highlights of against the Raiders.
Yeah, and this point of the year, guys, I mean, if you've been in the league 4, 5, 6, 7 years, you've developed personal relationships with certain officials also in terms of a first name basis. You can talk, especially the middle linebacker, the quarterback, and a lot of times the safety when you get a lot of explanations why the calls are called. But you can't get caught up in this, okay? Yes, do you scout the officials? Yes, you do. What calls are they apt to call? Yes, you get all of that information, but you do not take away your aggressiveness because there's one thing you know. Force them to make the call. That's another thing that we would also know. It's the Super Bowl. The one thing the NFL does not want Monday morning is the story about the officials. On how many penalties they called. It was this critical situation. They called this call, they called that. They don't want that. The officials know that. Veteran players know this. And you can get away more, actually, the bigger of the game. A grab, a tug, being physical at the line of scrimmage. Especially if you know a couple of calls have already been called. All right, they don't want to call that again, so here I go. Be physical at the line of scrimmage in passing situations. These type of mind games, if you get caught in this mind game with the New England Patriots and say, oh, they're going to call it, they're not going to get called penalties on them, you've lost already. So Philadelphia Eagles, don't lose your aggressiveness. Play hard in coverage, force them to make the call because this is the biggest game of the year. Everyone knows this, and so do the officials.
And how many times on a Monday morning have we gone over a call, a disputed call, a catch, not a catch? The league does not want that to be the conversation on Monday morning.
Absolutely. Can you feel the energy from Teddy as he kept going, talking about the officials? That's no excuse. Don't let that get. No, it's true.
Play your game. Play your game, Sage.
The Eagles were the 7th most penalized team in the NFL this regular season. The Patriots, the 7th fewest. Again, a game within a game that is truly what it is and what it will be here. Super Bowl 52, the Patriots and the Eagles on Sunday.
The news, not good. Kevin Love's broken hand, and with the trade deadline looming, Ramona Shelburne tells us how the Cavs might play this.
Sports Center is brought to you by Visa. Don't miss honorary team Visa athletes Larry Fitzgerald and Trey Wingo as they try their hand at curling.
2, please. So you're a great wide receiver, but you've always dreamed of being a curler.
No, not in particular. I just want to be an Olympian. How hard could curling be?
You guys want some waters?
I'll take one.
Oh, no, that's going to be $2.50.
That's the sound. I'm sticking to football. Let's get out of here.
Everything hurts.
Ice tub time.
The future waits for no one.